Good morning and welcome to all the viewers out there joining us for this preview. If you are watching it, it is recorded early this morning. If you're watching it in the afternoon or in the evening, it is recorded on Wednesday morning, the 27th, bright and early. So take note of those scratchings when it comes to the final declarations for the Thursday, the 28th of September, where racing takes place at the Vaal. Joining me on the line, as usual, is none other than Alistair Cohen. Alistair, how's things your neck of the woods? Trust all is well?
Yeah, all good, thanks, Sheldon, and I hope everything's good with yourself and all the viewers and all the punters out there. How are things in Joburg? Well, a little bit of rain fell on Wednesday, which was great to see. It nowhere near enough to sort of turn the grass to a billiards table like it would with heavy rain, but that's the first sprinkling of spring, and hopefully we set in for a good season. I must confess, this Vaal card, although some races are head scratchers, overall I prefer it to the Saturday, the Tuesday card, Turfentine, which I read in the main fairly well, but one or two are left out there. Hopefully it goes according to plan on this Thursday.
Super, let's get straight into the action. You have selected to go with the place accumulator. So the first race is a buy pot, due off at 12:30. The guys need to get their bets on. At this stage of the game, there are 7 runners. Now let's look at the betting. Number 7, Silver Jubilee. Now the Boren Boertes stable for the Ibrahims and Khans. When the money comes for these connections, going 1,600 for the first time, mystery horse, but if the follow-through comes, this could end up being the winner?
Sheldon, if she has a leg in every corner, she should win, because this is such a weak race. The horse that makes the most appeal on paper is number 2, Anne with an E, but running half a length to Explosive Bond and 1 1/4 lengths to Lady Dynamo, that is hardly inspiring form. Last time, probably your best run, funny enough, to Champagne Cocktail, who's Sparkling Water's sister, and made such a taking winning debut. But again, the Silver Jubilee will probably slot in, not too far away if she has any type of ability. Vicky Lorena takes her right. She takes 1.5 kilos off the back. Vicky's ridden a number of winners since her return to the saddle. I do believe that she's warming up for the invitational race on Lomaral King's Plate Day, which she rode in last year. And number 7, Silver Jubilee. If she's got a leg in every corner, and if the betting is to be believed, then she should be the one they all need to beat. But the race runner that inspires most is number 2, Anne with an E, but she doesn't inspire much.
Well, that's a look at the first race, and keep a close eye for the follow-through, because if there's any ability about Silver Jubilee going the mile for the first time, you might see this horse shorten significantly in the betting. On to race number 2, which is a graduation plate over 1,200 meters. Number 5, Moving In, has shortened 13 to 10 from 15 to 10. Number 3, Just Be Lacquer, is 18 to 10, and then money for number 6, Global Thunder, from 7 to 2 down 28 to 2, and also a nibble for number 1, National Star, 6 to 1 down 11 to 2. Now, Alistair, you've elected to banker number 3, Just Be Lacquer, winner of the first 2 runs. And you and Candace Dawson, you'll know exactly how good this daughter of William Longsword is. Take us through that last run in KwaZulu-Natal, and then what's happened since that run.
Okay, so she travelled so badly between Summerfelt and Hollywoodbets Greyville on Gold Cup Day that she was a whisker away from being scratched. It was literally 51-49 running and scratching, but the chance was taken that she would run, and everything went wrong for her. She didn't take the bend all that well. She hung, and she still acquitted herself well to run less than 3 lengths to Outlaw King, with horses come out onto her. So it's a very pleasing piece of form. I think it's one of the stronger 2-year-old feature race form lines in the country. I'll just call up those statistics now. duration, but there have been a few that have stepped out and franked that form. Those names being Ready to Charge and Tail of the Comet. Tail of the Comet in no uncertainty. And Mount Pilatus a tad flat on Tuesday, but I still think 1,200 meters is too short for him. Her work has been absolutely wonderful. JP van der Merwe assassinated during the week. He's very happy with her, and there are high hopes for number 3, Just Be Lacquer. In the place accumulator, though, it's either or. I can't see them missing first and second. Number 5 moving in. The other one I spoke to Johan Janssen van Vuren at Turfentine on Tuesday. I said, what about moving in? And he said she strengthened up so nicely with the time off. She's going to have a nice 3-year-old campaign. It is a starting point, but he's optimistic that she'll run well. I think they'll run 1-2. They got all the class. Moving in might be slightly better weighted than Just Be Lacquer, but also remember, Moving In earned her rating at grade 1 level, finishing 6 lengths to Mrs. Geriatrics, whereas Just Be Lacquer hadn't been there. So punters can form their own opinion on who's going to beat the other. It might be more my heart over my head with number 3, Just Be Lacquer, but place accumulator, bar pot wise, one or the other.
On to race number 3, which is over 1,200 meters, due off at 13:35. Having a look at your numbers, you're going with the top 3 in the betting, numbers 4, 11, and 12. Take us through it, because if you look at these runners, they're all improving, with number 12, Venetia and Moonlight, obviously just having the one run, a lot of improvement still to come.
But I don't like the form, Sheldon. I mean, I put her in because, as you say, she's got improvement to come, and she looked like she was staying on quite nicely on debut, but Flying Broomstick ran an almighty stinker on Tuesday, and when winning, Flying Broomstick won at 40-1. So that's why I've cast my net out a little bit wider. I'm almost embarrassed to say that I've got the top 3 in the betting, because I was hoping I obviously don't look at the market before I do these selections, but I was hoping to find something that might represent knocking out a few tickets, but out of 3 horses I haven't. 12 Venetian Moonlight, because she's got scope to improve, she's in there. 11 Teo Toriata for me was a good finisher last time out when stumbling at the start, and to me she was staying on behind Sigrid Swing. Again, the form looks ordinary, but who's got reasonable form lines into this race? Teo Toriata off for 2 months. I wouldn't read too much into that, and her progress from run 1 to run 2 is encouraging enough. And then my backup is number 4 Shine Memphis, who finished in front of Venetian Moonlight. It just depends how much more improvement Venetian Moonlight's got to come. Shine and Memphis, the only blot on the copybook was the second start behind Forever in My Dreams, who won by nearly double figures. So I'd take the 2 runs either side of the disappointing effort at face value and say that Shine and Memphis will run nicely. I did hear a word about a horse at Turfentine on Tuesday. It's the horse number 6, Dam Busters. Don't know if she's ready to win, but put her into your quartets.
Super. So what we're basically saying is to the viewers, be very cautious with those form lines and maybe just throw a cast a net over the runners and go as wide as you can, like you've gone the 3 runners.
Absolutely right.
Super. Let's move on to race number 4, which is over 1,200 meters, and race number 4, 14:10. The betting suggests number 5, Pocket Watch, is the horse to beat at 5-2, which was one of your horses you have in your place accumulator. Number 13, There's a Light at 4-1. Now that ran second to Duke of Rock. Now that horse was strongly supported to win, and Julia Obliged. And then you've also included number 5 and 4. So 4, 5, and 13. And then just looking at the betting, number 15, Tropical Storm from 10-1. I think shortened 7-1 and a follow through down 5-1. Have you heard anything about Tropical Storm the first timer?
No, I haven't, but I will venture to speak to Lucky Hoodalakas before the race meeting, or certainly before the race. And Lucky's a good judge. When there's money for his first timers, they tend to run nicely. The first timer that I have heard a word about is number 7, Active Power, but I can't see a Son of Flower Alley out of an Imperial Stride mare winning over 1,200 meters on debut. So that's why I left him out. And also very interesting is Master Archie's half-brother, number 11, Majestic Palace, who makes his debut over 1,200 meters. So this is a very, very interesting maiden. It's a maiden that I'm very skeptical about because it won't take much for a first-timer to do something here. So 4, 5, and 13 are my numbers. I'm hoping to survive. My reasoning for having these horses in, number 4, Halberdier, brings a reasonable level of form. He, funny enough, finished in front of Pocket Watch when they met behind Emporium. Muzieni takes her out on Halberdier. He pushed Barbaresco all the way until the final 100 meters last time when Barbaresco's class came into it. Remember, Barbaresco went very close to Sandringham Summit as a maiden. maiden. 5 Pocket Watch was the story or the case of an objection last time out. Didn't end up getting the race, but at least he's coming along the right way. Gavin Larena retains the right for Stuart Pettigrew. And then I chatted to Ray Magna after the race with number 13, There's a Light, because he caught my eye going down to the start, and after his run I thought, gee, was that a surprise or not? And Ray said it was an unbelievably big surprise. He doesn't show anything at home, but he ran second to Duke of Rock first time out, and he'll take that run with both hands. So if there's any improvement to come with number 13, There's a Light, he could be dangerous as well. Hoping to survive that race, Sheldon, because the first timers ring alarm bells.
So there we go, 2 races to be very cautious of. Put the red flag up and see how we go. We'll step on the gas to race number 5, which is over 1,600 meters. So looking at the betting, Alistair, they've got 3 horses joint at 22-10. Number 4, Argus Sanction. Number 8, Live by the Sword. And also number 10, Viva Brazil. What do you make of this race? Because Viva Brazil and Argus Sanction, they did meet on the 7th of September. Viva Brazil's obviously got the greater scope for improvement, with Argus Sanction having 1 run after that.
I'm convinced that Viva Brazil will turn that form around. I'm convinced that number 10, Viva Brazil, will improve big time. All he's got to do is handle the straight, like you heard Alaka's horses do. He's based at the Vaal. The first run, I watched Viva Brazil closely. He came out softly, which is a concern, because if he does that again, he'll be on the back foot, and hopefully he doesn't pull, because down the straight, that can be the death knell. But I like the way he finished off. Number 10, Viva Brazil. He was quietly going about his business. He was the fastest 400 to finisher. And even though the track is configured to assist those with lower draws on this day, in a smaller field, I think number 10, Viva Brazil, will get some cover and be the one that they all need to beat. So I'm keen on him winning. For Iger Sanction, if you like Viva Brazil, you've got to like Iger Sanction to an extent. I expected more from Iger Sanction last time out when finishing less than 5 lengths to Duke of Rock. So if There's a Light does something a race earlier, Iger Sanction becomes more appealing, and then the other horse, number 8, Live by the Sword, has scope to improve. First run to Biofarmer. Biofarmer ran second to Tail of the Comet last weekend, so there's enough there with number 8, Live by the Sword, that he can kick on. But I saw more from Viva Brazil first time out than what I saw from number 8, Live by the Sword. So bank at 10 for me.
Moving on to race number 6, and now this is a race that I find quite interesting, and I'm going to really value your opinion here. Looking at the betting, number 4, Storm Player, has shortened 13-10. My first selection is going to be number 1, Second Breath, at around 5-1. Ran second to Miss Daisy last time out in an average rating of a 94. Course and distance specialist, gets the 4 kgs off the back. Let's firstly touch on Storm Player. Do you believe that she's a 13-10 shot in this field?
I'm waiting for the egg on my face, but no, I don't, Sheldon. I've left her out my place accumulator. I wouldn't leave her out the pick 6 because she can kick on. She can at least go to places that the rest of this field haven't been to, but she's not much to look at. Number 4, Storm Player, dare I say. I know she won in striking fashion, beating Striking Angel last time, but now she takes on horses who have run at feature race level in the form of Second Breath, who ran a lovely race last time. I think it could be a masterstroke to have Trent Mayhew take the 4 kilos off the back. I think she's actually overperformed this daughter twice over. The fact that she's won 3 times and placed on numerous occasions as well, and then last time getting as close as she did to Miss Daisy, that was easily her career best. And if in the same type of heart, then number 1, Second Breath, could be difficult to turn over. I think number 2, Berengaria, can't be too far away. Her ratings come down another pound. Although she's not weighted to turn the form around with Second Breath, I think she'll go a lot closer. It's interesting that Muziyeni sticks with her. And I've always thought number 3, October Fair's got something in the tank. It's her first run as a 4-year-old. You know the rule with Silvanos, just give them a chance to mature and kick on. She might need the run. Terry's horses generally are this season, so I wouldn't expect any fireworks. I wouldn't be having a bet on number 3, October Fair, but it wouldn't surprise me if she came out fresh, ran a nice race, and set herself up for a win in the not-so-distant future at a similar level. So 1, 2, and 3 for me in a wide open race.
Well, thanks very much, Alistair, because we're both on the same page. When I went through the race and I saw Storm Player, I said, yes, very impressive, now taking on a lot stronger. And I also just thought 13-10, if she wins, good luck to the guys. But horses like Second Breath and Berengaria at backable prices, definitely they're going to be horses that Storm Player has to go with. So thanks very much for that. We're on the same page as we step on to race number 7. And yeah, Home of the Brave, number 1. I believe you'll be bankering and taking your chances on this Son of the United States from the Tyrone Zaki stable. And look who he ran behind last time out, Tail of the Comet, in an average rating of a 96.
From the worst of the draws on the Turfentine inside track over 1450, very little in his favour. He wasn't well weighted in that race, and he still ran nicely. Although Tail of the Comet ran away from him, and probably Home of the Brave won't sniff Tail of the Comet ever again. The point is, there was enough to like about Home of the Brave last time out, coming back to this type of level. I know it's a graduation versus graduation, but there's nothing more or as progressive as Tail of the Comet in this race. So I think Home of the Brave will win Muzi, and he takes it out for Tyrone Zaki. I was chatting to Tyrone a lot at Turfentine on Tuesday, and he's a bit stop-start at the moment this season. He knows that he's waiting for the reins to come with a lot of his horses, but he thinks his horses are just not quite where they need to be. He doesn't think he's far away, so hopefully number 1, Home of the Brave, will do it all justice. And another added addition to what I'm saying is that Home of the Brave, penultimate start over 1,600 metres on the Vaal Classic track, ran in the middle stakes. Out of that race, Perfect Witness has come out and won. He wasn't well weighted there either, and ran nicely to Silent Wall. So for me, number 1, Home of the Brave, just brings the best credentials into this race. I'm looking at, a horse like Bob's Your Uncle. He tries all the way down to the wire, probably doesn't quite get 1,800 metres. I know he's run nasty, but this is probably his best kind of trip. He's got a tongue tie on, but the horses he's run to and the horses that Home of the Brave run to, they pale into insignificance. I've been waiting for number 4 now. I got you for a very, very long time, but I'm running out of patience with him. So all in all, Sheldon, very keen on number 1, Home of the Brave. I think he'll win.
Right, let's move on to the lucky last, as they call it, which is race number 8. And hopefully by this point in time, you've got some money in the pocket. And if you've got the money in the pocket, you'll be sailing into the last race. Alistair, if the guys are on the back foot going into race number 8 over the 1,600-metre trip, you've gone with horses 2 and 5 in your place accumulator. What would you suggest for the guys out there? Maybe 1 or 2 Shruti to throw into the quartet, or how are you going to play race number 8?
Well, my Shruti here is number 7, Duke of Rock, because I think he can win, but I've left him out the PA because I'm very comfortable with my numbers. And looking around for other Shrutis, maybe a horse like San Marzano, after running nicely last time and coming into a rating drop, he could also sneak into the top 4. But I'm convinced the winner comes from either 2 or 5. Number 2, Sage King, been to the Vaal course and distance once before, 1 from 1. It's such a specialist course and distance. On that occasion, he beat Napoleon. Now, if you go to the collateral form from the 25th of May, you will see that Napoleon's got the turnaround and the weights coming in here 1 kilo better off for away. But Napoleon needs a certain type of ride. You got to ride him no good. You got to sit and sit and sit. So the biggest attribute he's got down the Vaal Mile Straight is that he settles, but then he needs a little bit of luck in running as well to clear a whole lot of horses. I don't think he'll have too many traffic problems when they're all running into a straight line. Hopefully not. So 2 and 5 for me. Sage King, he was unlucky at his penultimate start when running 5th to back to basics. That's a nice piece of form. There've been winners out of that. He comes in good heart. The Crawford Yard and Joburg is going along very nicely. So I can't see past the winner coming from 2 and 5. But to make money in the quartet, it might be a horse like San Marzano sneaking into 4th who can make things pay.
Just one other horse that I want to touch on, number 1, Johnny Dogs from the Clausen stable. Now, I like Second Breath earlier on at around 5-1 to take on the favourite there. Johnny Dogs at around 20-1 from the 1 draw. Definitely worth throwing into the quartets. 1,800 last time, perhaps just a bit too far?
Yeah, probably didn't get home. He never struck me as an 1800-meter horse. I think he's got more Joe's Bond, who was an out-and-out sprinter, rather than twice over, who can get them to stay. He's certainly built that way. He's drawn on the right side of the track, well, what should be the right side of the track with how the track is configured. Ratings come down a little bit. I think that they're battling to get the answers with number 1, Johnny Dogs, just chatting to Robin after the last run. So maybe if they got the answers here, not impossible that he shows his best, and the yard do pop up with some big prize horses that look like they've gone a little bit off radar, so not impossible, but I think the 2 and 5 will have to have a bad day, and he'll have to have his best day in a while to win it.
Super, thanks very much, Alistair. And just before we let you go, we're going to bring up your suggested bet for the day. So if you can run all your followers through your suggested bet, take it away, Alistair.
So suggested bet as the place accumulator begins at 1 o'clock on this Thursday. Banker number 3, Just Be Lacquer in the first leg, by 4, 11 and 12 in the second leg. So those being Shine and Memphis, Territory and Venetian Moonlight, by 4, 5 and 13. That race I don't like. Halberdier, Pocket Watch, and There's the Light. Then in race 5, which is leg 4, banker number 10, Viva Brazil, by 1, 2 and 3. Second breath, Berengari on October Fair. I'm hoping to get the favourite out of the place accumulator. I might be crazy. By banker 1, Home of the Brave. By 2 and 5, Sage King and Napoleon.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Alistair. As is the norm, always giving us the information, doing the background stuff. So thanks very much for your input, and best of all on the day, and hopefully everything goes according to plan. Thanks very much, Alistair.
Always a pleasure to all the viewers, to all the punters. I hope it's a wonderful day, and looking forward to the weekend at Hollywoodbets Durbanville with the Matchroom Stakes.
Yes, really looking forward to the weekend's racing, and we all know what's happened in Cape Town, so the weather conditions hopefully clear up and everything goes according to plan. But as far as the Vaal card goes, Alistair's given you the rundown, and then now it's time for the horses to do it for you on the racecourse.